Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Radash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstone that taught us this truth, and including the bishops on down as well. And Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatham to the elect overall, 144,000, and as well as the 1/3, the household overall of the elect. And it's your brother Laban at you with another video, and this video is just going to be me addressing what had happened in Israel starting from I believe yesterday. And as he found out is that the death toll rose to more than 1,000, over 1,000 at this surprise of Hamas attack on Israel. So I'm going to just read as much as I can read in this article, get into the key points, and then we're going to get to the precepts as usual. So this reads, Benjamin Netanyahu warns of a long and difficult war as security cabinet signs off on a wide-ranging authorization for military action. The Israeli death toll after the surprise attack by the militant group Hamas on communities in the country's south has risen to at least 700, including 44 soldiers, as the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said. Israel was embarking on a long and difficult war. In Gaza, which was pummeled by Israeli airstrikes, officials reported at least 413 deaths, with thousands of Israelis and Palestinians wounded since Saturday morning. Israel said more than 100 Israeli citizens, including women and children, were believed to have been abducted at gunpoint by Hamas to Gaza. At least 260 bodies were discovered at the site of a music festival in the desert kibbutz. Many of the Israeli victims were civilians who were murdered in their homes, on the streets of their communities, and at other locations along a broad swath of territory bordering Gaza, leading the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, to describe the Hamas assault as an indiscriminate terrorist attack, which is a one of those buzzwords, which, to a degree we can agree with that. But before I even go further into this, I just want to say this, that yeah, this was a big deal. But guess what? The powers that be, or the Israeli government, they probably already knew about it, man. Because if something big happens like this on a mass scale, right, it's going to be known about. It's definitely going to be known about, And the thing of it is, we very well know that this was one of those, BLOOD sacrifices, man. I mean, these devils, they're not, God-fearing people. These people believe in a different entity, which is contrary to righteousness. And we know that for a fact. Okay, books have come out about these people and what their agenda really is. They'll tell you one thing and show themselves to be angels of light, but they're really Satan himself. They come in the image of Satan, all right, through their actions and as well as through their words. Okay, and this situation is what I said it was, or it is. Salakia. So now, what I want to do is I want to read about what Trump said about this as well, and then we're going to pull a scripture out on this as well. So this is from the Breitbart. Donald Trump, the terror attack on Israel, an act of savagery and must be crushed and avenged. Former President Donald Trump declared the latest terrorist attack against Israel an act of savagery that must and will be crushed and avenged during a campaign that stopped in Cedar Rapids, Iowa on Saturday. So let's go down and read this. The Palestinian terror attack happened on a Jewish holiday on Shemini Atazat. That's really how you pronounce it. Atazat, right? The final day of the annual High Holy Day cycle. the terror invasion of Israeli territory and the murder of Israeli soldiers and citizens is an act of savagery that must and will be crushed and avenged. It has to be crushed. Trump declared Israel is at war and the U.S. has to support Israel, and there has been no better president for Israel than me. And this ties right into the prophecy of Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, which the term counsel means the purposes and the plans of the Lord that have taken against Edom, and his purposes, which his purposes is his Lord's purposes, okay? As it is written, man's goings are of the Lord, and the Lord what? Pondereth the heart of the kings. So Esau's purposes is really the Lord's purpose. But they think it's their own idea, though. That he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. And the Temanites are nothing more than the wisest ones out of E. Because you know, when you really go back some time almost 80 years ago, during the time of the Second World War, which really Britain was behind starting that war. You know, that information isn't widely spread today, but the information is there. You can go research it and stuff like that, because you know, Germany was selling better products than their European counterparts. So Britain had a problem with that. And that's not really spoken about like that on a wider scale as it should. And as it was at the time when that information was being declared to the public that they were in the Second World War, they didn't tell the truth on that. Okay? But that truth is there. Like I said, you can go research that for yourself. So as it reads, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So surely the least of the flock is talking about the Israelis. And they're going to draw them out. Who is the them? The them is talking about the Americans. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So in other words, which I don't really see this going any further. Okay? Because the physical world war, the third war, which is going to come, it's not going to be happening as of yet. You know, as it is written, that we're going to hear wars and rumors of wars here and there, but the end is not yet. As well as Yahushua told the disciples, we have prophecies to expect first. We have to expect chaos, in other words, Jacob's trouble, primarily in the Western Hemisphere and in many other places around the world, you know, key areas. And then we also have to expect the MOTB prophecy to kick in. And then eventually the war is going to happen. The third war, which is put in place right now as it stands. But the way it's looking real hot in the east, though, as it's been, you know, for quite some time, but it's just getting hotter. Especially with this situation over here. And America's definitely going to take the side of their greatest ally of all time, which is the Israelis, if things get really out of hand. And then, you know, let's just say, you know, Iran, you know, gets dealt with by the Israelis or one of the big boys, and we already know that Russia's going to step in there and protect Iran. And now you have your full-blown war. It's just going to have to take one thing by another thing. And once that's the case, then we have a full-blown war, which is going to be physical now. And this war is going to be between two opposing forces, the Edomites in the east and as well as the Edomites against the west. And therefore they will destroy one another, as it is written in the book of Revelations 6 and verse 4 concerning the red horse, that they are those that will take peace from the earth. I'm roughly paraphrasing what it said, but the red horse represents Esau, which will take peace from the earth, destroying one another. All right. Matter of fact, let me see if I could read that instead of just quoting it. I will just read it. Revelations 6 and verse, I think it's 4. Yeah, Revelation 6 and 4. And then went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. There you go. And there was given unto him a great sword. So this is talking about Esau. When you read the story in the book of Genesis 27, it tells you how Isaac, his father, blessed him. And he said, you're going to be having the fatness of the earth, but you're going to live by the sword. So with the sword, in other words, which is symbolic of Esau ruling the world with destruction, is going to have to take destruction to put an end to the power of Esau as it stands right now. And it's going to be by two opposing forces, the Americans and their allies, and as well as the allies of the Russians. So by the sword they came into the rulership, and by the sword they will lose their rulership. As well as what was told to Peter, he that killeth with the sword, that's in Revelations 13 and 10. He that killeth with the sword must die by the sword. And as well as what was told to Peter, Yahushua told him, he said, he that liveth by the sword will die by the sword. If I said that correctly as well. So yeah, that's basically the deal with Esau, man. Esau is going to be ruling with the sword, and by the sword he will be out of rulership. Straight like that. So now let's also read, Psalm 34. Yeah, this is it right here. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate righteous shall be desolate. And that's where the bus is going to stop with Esau. Esau ain't going to build a new world order, and they're going to live deliciously ever after, enjoying the fruits of their labor. Nah, that's not going to be the case. The case has already been written to play out. And the case of the matter is that these people are going to be resulting to their end, and then we're going to rule, as it is also written in the Apocrypha, that Esau is the ending of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And when Jacob rules, we're going to be the ones ruling forever. All right. So yeah, let me back up a little bit, and I want to read another precept. Yeah, let me go back to Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah 49 and verse 21 now. Yeah, so this reads, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. At that day shall the herd of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So at the end of it all, Esau is going to go out in a great way of destruction. And it's going to start with him, and it's going to end with Yahushua. All right. And guess what? It's going to end because the sword is going to be used, and Yahushua is going to use his sword to put an end to the one that was blessed with the sword. Okay. That's why it reads, man, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle. What does it mean that the Lord is going to fly as an eagle, come up and fly as an eagle? Meaning, when Yahushua makes his second return, the further he comes towards the planet Earth, is the more he's going to cover the skies, and as well as angelic forces, as he's incoming into this realm, and spread his wings over Basra. What is the Basra? This Basra is talking about America. That was the land where we were primarily enslaved in. And that is going to be the land of the salvation of Israel. And it's just kind of heavy because you got the northern kingdom running up in there. Esau declaring them to be, immigrants, right? Because the day is going to come that the Lord is going to judge his people overall. The 2/3 of his people are going to be judged in America. And as well as the righteous will be judged in there too. And of course, the Lord is going to venture off and deliver. Not venture off. The Lord is going to come in a gigantic, enormous ship to the point where The Lord don't gotta venture off to a different location. He can just come where he's at and stay where he's at in that ship and deliver us at the same time, or deliver us, in different times. All right. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs, as well as it reads in the book of Luke 21 somewhere. I forgot the exact verse, but it says that the Lord, when the Lord make his second return, he's going to what? Shake the powers that are in heaven. I'm roughly paraphrasing that precept, but the powers on earth shall be shaken. There you go. So that's what Yahweh Shai's presentation is going to do to the souls of men. It's going to shake men. Okay. So great destruction is coming. There ain't no new world order. You're not going to have the remnant of Esau riding into the sunset, coming out of their bunkers and building themselves back up. And now they're living good to the point of where they have all of the resources of the planet Earth and whatever idea that they have in mind, their enterprise, man. That doesn't exist. That's just an idea. What's happening right now is prophecies are being fulfilled. We talking about the prophecies of the devil? No, we're talking about the prophecy of the saints, which will be taking place here on this earth. Like, we all got something to say, right? We all got an idea and plan and purposes, but guess what? There's no other purpose greater than the Lord's purposes, as it is written in the book of Proverbs 19 and 21. Let me go and get that. Let's pull that out rather than me quoting it. Exactly. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the purpose of the Lord, that shall stand. Exactly. So as I'm going to say again, we all got something to say. We all got many thoughts and ideas and plans and purposes. But guess what? Our purposes and plans don't trump the purpose and the plans of the Lord. Okay? So whatever the Lord's going to do, that's what's going to be done. Anything outside of that, that don't matter. So, that's the only thing that we can really expect is the Lord's ways being put here on this earth. So, I mean, you may have an idea or a plan, but is the Lord backing it, though? The Lord got to be behind that plan. Because I'll tell you this, man, the whole idea of us ruling the planet Earth, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, that's actually a purpose of the Lord. So we already know that's going to be established, no doubt. But when we talk about some new world order that these levels is talking about, that ain't going to happen, man. And I just want to just go back and just elaborate on this right here. I remember 2 weeks ago it was. He was at the UN meeting talking about how he's going to do something that's going to upset Iran, how he's going to get together with, those that are closely connected to Israel and have peace with them. Okay. And 2 weeks later, after he said that, that's when the destruction came in Israel. Right here and there. As it is written in the New Testament, it says, when they shall say peace and sudden destruction cometh. And that's what happened, because none of us actually knew that this was going to take place, man, like this. No one knew about this. It just came suddenly 2 weeks later. And then also you got to include that when the devil speaks of peace, you have to be very well expecting the quite contrary. Let's even read this. It tells you in Psalms 55 and verse 21 to be exact, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, and his words were salter than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So this man was born to be wrathful, going back to the blessing as well. We have to include the blessing that he was given by his father Isaac, our father, which is the father of the two nations. He blessed Jacob with a beautiful blessing and blessed Esau with a damnable blessing, which seemed good, but isn't going to show that it's good in the very end of it all. So this man, he's going to rule with the sword. He's going to be the devil. He's going to act like he's an angel of light, but he's really just that, the devil, Satan. Okay? So he can get his way. So let's even read this. This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. And he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Exactly. So when this devil speaks sweet words that the soul wants to hear, again, you got to always be aware that this man is planning something. He got some secret up of his sleeve. Okay? And speaking about blood, a lot of blood was shed during this situation. Just like I said earlier in the video, that when you have major catastrophes like this happening, you better believe that these devils have already known about that before it even happens. Any incident, it could be a small incident, it could be a major incident that the world will see eventually on. They already knew about this, man. Okay, and just like I also said, that this is probably nothing more than the BLDD sacrifice. Anyway. And I mean, I could have just said the actual word, but something's telling me to say it like that. So I gotta go what my spirit is telling me, because this is relatively a sensitive issue as well, by the way, being that this is concerning the small hats, which are nothing more than Edomites anyway. They ain't who they say they are. All right, so I think I've said what I had to say on this, man. With that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Ba'Shem Al Shai Ba'Shem Rakah HaKwadash. And with that, I say, Shalom.